Alright, happy birthday to me. This gift is a little big though. I asked for Super Mario Brothers 2. Whew, that's more like it. Very funny, Mom and Dad. Jackpot! Super Mario Brothers 2. And over 32 years later, here it is, my same copy of Super Mario Brothers 2. Hey YouTube, Bob here with my next installment of the Nintendo Unboxed playlist, in which we're going to take a look at Super Mario Brothers 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. So yes, this is my original copy that you saw in the photos there. Mom and Dad thought they'd be pretty funny and wrap this up as if it were clothes, which I think I really thought it was, but was super happy, as you could see in that last photo there. So happy to get this game because it was exactly what I wanted. And Mom would later tell me the story of how hard it was to get and how many lines she waited in and for how long, and she was pretty much a doorbuster for me trying to get this game. So very appreciative to Mom for going through all that trouble just to get a new 9-year-old this game, because I did get this for my 9th birthday in 1988. So let's take a look here. Right off the bat, you can tell that this game, aside from this little bit of battle damage right here, fared quite a bit better than my copy of Super Mario Brothers. Don't have too many, quite as many dings and dents, and certainly not the rips that you saw in my copy of Super Mario Brothers. Plus, this was a little bit later on, so there was no hang tab to lose there. But if we flip it back to the front, there's this little strip right here that says Mario Madness, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that was removed from later copies of the game. But this was a launch copy, and I've mentioned in some of my other videos that the art for Nintendo franchises hadn't quite yet been finalized or standardized. So you can see they went with some hand drawing here, some hand-drawn art of Mario, and it's certainly not quite the stock Mario aesthetic that we know right now. Nintendo pretty much has that locked down and very consistent nowadays. But back then, I think they contracted different artists for pretty much everything that they did, and certainly wasn't computer generated at that point. And this vegetable here looks kind of weird, a little sparkly, and it almost appears to be like rubbery. It looks like it's all one piece there. So if you played Super Mario Brothers 2, you know the main mechanic is picking up vegetables and throwing them at the foes. You can still jump on things, but if you do, you'll probably just end up going for a ride in the majority of cases, because you're supposed to pick up these vegetables and throw them at the enemies. But kind of interesting there with this hand-drawn art, little rendition of Mario there holding the weird vegetable, Mario Madness across the bottom, and then the original Nintendo seal of quality, which says, "This seal is your assurance that Nintendo has approved and guaranteed the quality of this product." We know that that's not what this seal meant. It just means that any licensees had paid Nintendo the fee, and Nintendo is endorsing the game for that reason. But this game, even though it is very different than the original Super Mario Brothers that we got in the United States, you're probably familiar with the backstory that Super Mario Brothers 2 is actually a retooled game from Japan that was originally called Doki Doki Panic. And people at Nintendo of America decided that the original Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan was just way too difficult and just too much of the same to be a commercial success here in the United States. So instead, they gave Doki Doki Panic an overhaul and turned it into Super Mario Brothers 2 for those of us in pretty much every other region outside of Japan. So let's take a look at the back and see what we got going on here. Super Mario Brothers 2. Mario's back, bigger and badder than ever before. And again, we've got those CRT screenshots here in that shape with the rounded corners and rounded edges, rather. And it says, "This time it's a fierce action-packed battle to free the land of Subcon from the curse of the evil wart. It's up to you, along with Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the princess, to fight your way through bizarre multi-level worlds and find him. This time you've got a brand new kind of power, plucking power. And now anything you can find can be a weapon. But beware, you've never seen creatures like these. Shy Guys and tweeters, Ninja and Bezos, and you've never had an adventure like this. Only cunning and speed can save you now. So a little bit of a close-up there on the screenshots. And what I was most excited about for this game was the ability to play as the different characters, being Mario, who is just your pretty much average speed, average jump. Then you could be Luigi, who had a super high jump, but his handling was a little bit wonky, as we're used to now. And Toad was very fast and very strong, but he couldn't jump very high. And then the princess, she was a little bit slower and not quite as strong, but she could float for up to 4 seconds, which I thought was really cool. And I usually tended to pick princess. Notice it says princess here, not Princess Toadstool, not Peach. Still not standardized yet at this time here with Super Mario Brothers 2. The other thing that I think is interesting that they named the land or the world in which this game takes place is Subcon. And that, of course, is an abbreviation of subconscious, where your dreams are generated, because as we see in the instruction manual, this game is supposed to be a dream that Mario has. And I think that's how they're trying to explain away the vast difference between this game and Super Mario Brothers, where Mario had his adventure in the Mushroom Kingdom. So they set it up as a dream sequence so they could explain just how different it was from the first. So it's interesting to me that they decided to go with this version of the game because they thought, one of the reasons was because they thought the original Super Mario Brothers 2 was too similar to the original Super Mario Brothers. But now this one's different enough to where they have to kind of explain why it's so different. But all that backstory aside, let's take a look at what you got. What I saw the first time I opened Super Mario Brothers 2 way back in December of 1988 for my 9th birthday. So you open it up here. You got the game in its plastic bag, and you can see the paperwork there. And then we're greeted here with the Nintendo Power subscription here, and it's the very first issue with Super Mario Brothers 2 right on the cover. This is how I found out about this game. It's how most of us found out about the game, because subscribers to the Nintendo Fun Club newsletter, you were mailed this automatically for free. You got your first issue for free. So anything else in the box? Nothing other than that foam block that kind of raises the game up so that it fits inside the box. So let's take a look and see what we have here. I've got Super Mario Brothers 2 in its dust cover and in the original bag. And like I mentioned, a trademark of these bags is the little circle punch right through the middle. I think that's just so air doesn't get trapped. Makes it easier for the people who package the games to do it a little bit quicker. So if we take a look at the game itself, we'll take a look at the game first this time instead of the documentation. Pretty standard issue there here, although by this time Nintendo was not producing any of those 5-screw carts anymore. It was all 3 screws with the 2 clips on the front. And apparently by this time Nintendo had gone to security bits. As you can see there, those are security bits in there where you need a security bit driver to remove them. Earlier games, some of the 5-screw, 5-screw version for sure, and some of the 3-screw versions actually used screws that had a little slotted head on there, so it was a little bit easier to open those up. You didn't have to get a game bit, which was very, very difficult, unlike nowadays where you can just go onto Amazon and order a game bit. So that really was more of a security measure back then compared to nowadays. But here's the same art. If we compare it to the actual box, the Nintendo seal of quality is absent, and we've got a Nintendo Entertainment System logo, and the Mario Madness banner there is gone. But other than that, the art is pretty much the same. Alright, so let's take a look at the documentation we have here. Do the poster first. This is a little bit more of an updated version of the poster. Rob is no longer feature on it, the robotic operating buddy, obviously because he served his purpose as a Trojan horse and got Nintendo into the North American market. So since his games were not that good, he was more of a liability than an asset to have among the Nintendo Entertainment System library. So they removed him, including from this poster. And they've kept, however, their "Now You're Playing with Power" slogan, and really cool with all the games kind of busting through or shattering glass. Do have some of the newer games on here. Super Mario Bros. 2 made it to the poster. Got Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, Kid Icarus, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and even Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is up there. I've got lots of those screenshots there, looking like a CRT TV with the bended sides. Very cool. Now, whether or not this poster is the original that came with my game, I can't be sure because, things have floated through my collection through time. So this may or may not be the original poster, but it was a version of this. They had different posters. Actually, this poster, it would have looked like this. They would have just swapped out different screenshots of the game. So this may or may not be the original poster that came with my Super Mario Bros. 2, but it was this style of poster, no longer the robotic operating buddy poster. So before we get to the manual here, yep, we got our Nintendo Power subscription like we saw. To play seriously, you need the power from the pages of this magazine. Because yeah, no internet. Loads of tips like this one from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. All right, what is the tip? Discover another world circuit. When the title screen appears, select Continue and enter the pass key 135792-468 and leave the last digit at 0. But don't press A yet. Instead, hold down Select and press the A and B buttons simultaneously. You'll wind up in a whole new ring and earn your title all over again. So certainly an interesting tip, albeit maybe not quite so useful, but those were the types of things you could come to expect from Nintendo Power Magazine. And then of course you had to fill this out and send it through the mail to subscribe to the magazine. Alright, instruction booklet for Super Mario Bros. 2. Take a look at the front and back. Full color here. Quite a bit thicker than the manual for Super Mario Bros. And there is quite a bit of backstory and illustrations included in here if I remember correctly. So we got our Nintendo seal, table of contents. Thank you for selecting the Nintendo Entertainment System Super Mario Bros. 2 pack. So we've got the story, basic rules, see how Mario and his friends move around, items that help Mario and his friends, bonus chance, and obstructing your way, gangs of enemy characters. That's probably a little bit of a bestiary there. So a couple warnings and precautions before we head into the story. So this is where they're going to give us the exposition about how this may be a dream world here. The story of Super Mario Bros. 2. One evening, Mario had a strange dream. He dreamt of a long, long stairway leading up to a door. As soon as the door opened, he was confronted with a world he had never seen before, spreading out as far as his eyes could see. When he strained his ears to listen, he heard a faint voice saying, "Welcome to Subcon, the land of dreams. We have been cursed by Wart, and we are completely under his evil spell. We've been waiting for your arrival. Please defeat Wart and return Subcon to its natural state. The curse Wart has put on you in the real world will not have any effect upon you here. Remember, Wart hates vegetables. Please help us." At the same time this was heard, a bolt of lightning flashed before Mario's eyes. Stunned, Mario lost his footing and tumbled upside down. He awoke with a start to find himself sitting up in his bed. To clear his head, Mario talked to Luigi, Toad, and Princess about the strange dream he had had. They decided to go to a nearby mountain for a picnic. After arriving at the picnic area and looking at the scenery, they saw a small cave nearby. When they enter this cave, to their great surprise, there is a stairway leading up, up, and up. It is exactly like the one Mario saw in his dream. They all walk together up the stairs and at the top find a door just like the one in Mario's dream. When Mario and his friends, in fear, open the door, to their surprise, the world that he saw in his dream spreads out before them. So yes, definitely setting up the exposition here that this is in a dream world. And there is an intro, a text intro in the game, but it isn't verbatim what is said here in the instruction manual. So again, these instruction manuals providing some information and backstory that at the time in those games you just didn't get. So it was kind of a nice touch to have that in the manual. Know the basic rules of the game, so going through how to use the controller, what the buttons do. letting you know who the characters are that you're going to be able to play as. 7 worlds, clear all 20 areas, giving you kind of a map of how you're going to be going through things there. This game is comprised of 20 areas and 7 worlds as shown in the diagram above. There is a little boss at the end of each area. The big boss, Wart, is waiting for you at the end of the final area once you've cleared all the other areas. So know what each character can do. This kind of lets you know what I described earlier, the strengths and weaknesses of each of the 4 characters, which was really cool at the time. This is one of the first times that I had seen characters with different abilities in games. However, in the original Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, there were differences between Mario and Luigi. Mario was a little bit more average at everything, but Luigi could jump very high and had a little bit more slippery handling like we're used to now. So information about running, your life meter here, which is a little bit different. You had some hit points there and you could expand those. What happens when you lose a life and how to continue and retry. Let's see how to move around. Tells you how to run and pick up the vegetables here. Got some nice illustrations of Mario. This is how to pick up the vegetables and bombs. You could throw bombs too. That was important in defeating the bosses, particularly Mouser. Remember, you'd have to throw the bombs at Mouser to defeat him. So how to attack your enemies and dodging. This game was unique in that it had a mix of horizontal and vertical scrolling. So I think some more advanced chips allowed for that to happen. These games were definitely bigger as far as memory goes than the original Super Mario Brothers and most of those black box games. They needed some additional chips to be able to do the multi-directional scrolling. This game also had doors to go through, talking about what you can do with bombs and some of the other items that you can find in the game. It was neat too that like the characters, even the vegetables had different, not abilities necessarily, but characteristics. The unripened vegetables, they're not fully grown, just give them to the enemies. You can pick those up a lot quicker than you can the ripe vegetables. So these are also do more damage, the ripe ones do. There is a turtle shell there. I think that was actually a sprite swap from Doki Doki Panic. I don't remember what the original sprite was, but I think they wanted to include some of the original characteristics of Super Mario Brothers. So they made a turtle shell instead of what this originally was in Doki Doki Panic. Mushrooms, I think that was also a sprite swap. Hearts. Key, because if you picked up the key, Phanto would chase you. And then this was kind of neat with the potion. Go to subspace with magic. If you find a magic potion, try throwing it. When you do that, a door will appear. You'll enter the subspace if you press the top of the control pad while in front of the door. The top of the control pad. Yeah, you push up on the D-pad. That's how we say that now. The grass in subspace will turn into coins, and you'll use magic until you use magic twice in that area. If you place a door in a certain place, there will be a heart that will increase your life meter. So yeah, the other neat thing is that everything is transposed. So it kind of flips horizontally the screen when you go into the land of Subcon. Or subspace rather, as it says here. So items that you become invincible with, like Starman. Time stop if you pick up the stopwatch. Bonus chance at the end of the game. Would see a much more fleshed out version of this in Super Mario Bros. 3, but yeah, you did want to definitely collect cherries in the bonus chance here after you defeated Birdo. And speaking of Birdo, here are the characters in the game. Now it's funny that this, it is an official Mario game, but the story of it is unique in that some people don't consider it to be, you know, as important as the main or the other Mario games like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3. However, a couple of the characters in this game have become mainstays in other games, like Shy Guy has made appearances in, you know, Mario Party. He's become kind of a standard character there. We're going to see Birdo coming up as well. But we got lots of different enemies here from Super Mario Bros. 2. These are just the standard ones that you would come across in the stages. Some really interesting ones like Ostro and Autobomb had the two-tiered approach. Each one had a shy guy riding them, which is interesting. Babam is another character that came from or originated in this game that has made appearances in other games. So a lot of these characters have made it into other games. And here are the baddies. We got Birdo, Mouser, Fry Guy, Triclide, Clawgrip, and Wart. Interesting thing here, I noticed that the description for Birdo, they edited it later on. It says, he thinks he is a girl and spits eggs from his mouth. He'd rather be called Birdetta. So I guess some people found that offensive or inappropriate, but this is the original run of the manual, so I'm happy to have that, that original description of Birdo there. And then Wart, they're not going to let you know what he looks like. He's the most mischievous of all in the world of dreams. He created monsters by playing with the dream machine. And then just the boring stuff. Compliance with FCC regulations. 90-day limited warranty. So that is Super Mario Bros. 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Again, just like my original copy of Super Mario Bros., I'm super happy to have hung on to this copy, because I didn't do that with all the stuff I had when I was a kid. But this is one of those games that I had super fond memories of. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and until then, take care.